Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Leo's Harmony. I'm doing a new format here. I have a new recording style. There's a new video format. I'm trying out this whole three pile thing where you can choose a pile basically. I hope that maybe this will be better than what I've been doing with the last video. Maybe the video will be higher quality as well because I changed some settings on the camera. Please let me know if you like the changes, and please pick a pile that kind of resonates with you so we can get started with the reading. If you do want a personal reading, my Etsy is down below in the description. But I hope you have been having a wonderful day, and I hope you picked a pile that kind of resonates for you. And if there is more than one, that's also okay. There are a few that kind of correlate with each other. Okay, pile one, welcome to your reading. It seems like you got the quarter moon in Taurus here with release control. So maybe that's something that you guys need to work on, and we'll go ahead and get started with the tarot cards to get the complete message here. Okay, pile one, you got the King of Wands, the Page of Cups, the King of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, and the High Priestess. So your oracle card here is about release control, but your cards are kind of very positive in this sense. So it seems like this oracle card here at the top is kind of telling you more of like an overall message of releasing control. Maybe you're really like overthinking things right now. Maybe you don't think that things might go too well. Um, but all these cards here are kind of pointing to like very positive signs. The King of Wands and the King of Swords, they're both king cards. Um, and they're people who are very much in tune with their own thoughts and their own passions. And then the Page of Cups is also someone who's very in tune like with their emotions. And I think that kind of aligns with the King of Wands there. Seven of Pentacles is kind of like you're planting seeds to kind of grow something. So maybe you need to release control in this full moon. Sorry, new moon. In order to finally get everything that you want. Because if you kind of see here, all of this is kind of growing for you already. Um, it's just kind of waiting for you to kind of take it. So you really should just kind of, like the Oracle card says there, release control. You kind of have everything here, everything's lined up for you. You have what you need. Um, but you really just need to like let go. It's kind of like the Hanged Man, where you just kind of trust that the universe is providing for you and trust that everything that you want is kind of going to go your way. It really doesn't seem like there is anything negative here at all, except for that Oracle card, maybe. Um, so there really is nothing for you to worry about, actually. You're doing what you're supposed to, you're getting what you need to get done, everything's right, except for that need for you to control everything. And maybe that's the one drawback that you need to work on in order to get everything else. Let's pull more tarot cards, and maybe that'll tell us a little bit more information. So maybe let's pull some for the need to release control. So you got the Queen of Wands and the Five of Pentacles. So it's kind of like on one side, you're so worried about like everything that you kind of want and you've been manifesting in this life. Pentacles can talk about like earthly attachments as well. And the Five of Pentacles is kind of like this really hopeless person that doesn't really see anything positive. Uh, and then on the other side, there's like this Queen of Wands, and she's like so happy, and she kind of got everything that she wanted. She chased her passions. And it's kind of funny how you got both the Queen and the King here. So there really is nothing to worry about. it like this state that you're in where you're kind of worrying for nothing basically isn't really meant to be there. Um, you kind of have everything there for you, like I mentioned with the Seven of Pentacles and all these really positive cards down here. I really don't think that there is much for you to worry about. You kind of are going to receive everything that you want. So it's a matter of like having patience and not trying to control everything. Because if it does come to that point, maybe you're controlling too much of like your mental ideas that you have here or your passions, and maybe it'll get to the point where you kind of throw away everything. Maybe you like missed the mark, or you're overthinking to the point where you just don't receive what you want because you're basically overdoing it. So there really is a need for you to like kind of just sit still, have positive vibes, and kind of let all of that positivity come your way. Just let go and don't overthink things, and things are fine. um, this is a pretty straightforward pile, I would say, but maybe we can get a few more tarot cards here that can kind of give us more information. Yeah, Nine of Cups, you kind of have everything. Like everything here is waiting for you. I don't like there is nothing for you to worry about. Page of Swords again, very positive card. Someone who kind of like studies what they want, who is kind of like mastering a new skill. Um, which I think in this case it's kind of talking about the release control card here, this Oracle card. And if you kind of notice, a lot of these cards are kind of yellow. Not too familiar with the colors of the chakras, but I know that yellow is one. So maybe that's something to look into. Maybe one more card. Sorry, that fell down. Then you have the Six of Cups. Six of Cups can talk about like reminiscing about the past as well. Um, but also maybe it's some inner child stuff that you haven't worked on that you should. So maybe like this need to kind of control everything is brought from the way that you were raised or the way that you kind of grew up. Maybe that is something that you need to work on. Um, but this is like a very positive card regardless. So I don't see it as something negative. It's more of like, hey, like things are here, everything's fine. Um, you're basically getting everything that you want. There's only one negative card here, and I think that's a little crazy. Because every other card that has been in this pile has been so positive that there really is nothing for you to worry about, and I promise you that. um, but yeah, I don't, it's kind of difficult to kind of like tell you what to work on with this oracle card because all of this is kind of pointing to, hey, just do this, and then you get all of that. Or like, work on this and this, and then you get everything. Like, there really isn't much else to say about this. You kind of like, you're just there. You're like right at the end of that finish line and you're just waiting to cross. It's like just one little thing that you need to work on, and you get all of that. And I think that's really wonderful for you. And that's so like beautiful. And I think that you're going to be very happy with whatever you want to receive. Maybe like it's a passion that you really had, or like this idea that you really wanted. You know, for some people, that can be like a career. For other people, that's love, or maybe you just want more security in your life, or you're working on your self-confidence, or whatever that is, whatever you want, whatever you've kind of been manifesting, but very much so about your passions, is right there at the end of that finish line. And you are so close to it. But yeah, pile one, like this is it. I don't really think there is much to say about this pile. You guys have such a positive reading here that there really isn't a whole lot to say about it. So I hope that kind of helped you. I know that was kind of a little, I don't know, like, I hope that helped. But there really is nothing for you to worry about. And that's basically the only message that they kind of gave you guys. But I hope you enjoyed your reading. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if there's anything that you think I should do to improve. I'm also recording in a new format. Um, and as always, there are personal readings on my Etsy down in the description. Thank you very much for watching. Okay, pile two, welcome to your reading. You got the new moon in Cancer, and this card talks about relax. So maybe you're overthinking things. It seems like maybe it's a little similar to pile one, if that really called to you as well. But let's pull some tarot cards, and maybe that'll give us more information about like why. So let's do that. Yeah, Eight of Swords. You're in your head a lot. Nine of Cups. Four of Wands. Three of Wands. Yep. Nine of Pentacles. I'm feeling maybe like one more with this one. Page of Cups. So I think these two are kind of like related to each other. So I'll leave that there. Um, but yeah, you just like pile one actually. You got very positive cards and like maybe one negative card. I don't know what is up today with like this beautiful energy, but you are worrying so much. You're really in your head about stuff, and it's causing you a lot of like anguish and that you shouldn't like really have. Um, New moon in Cancer. Cancer really is about emotions, and maybe like this mentality that you have right now is really affecting your emotions. Um, but new moon is always about beginnings, and then the full moon is usually about like something closing off. So again, like maybe this Taurus, this new moon in Taurus, you have to kind of like let go of like this negative state, and that's what they want. That's what your guides want. And the Nine of Cups here, it's kind of like, oh, you're really receiving everything that you want. And then the Four of Wands is like, oh, this is a celebration. Three of Wands is kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna follow my dreams, I'm gonna do it. Nine of Pentacles is kind of like, yep, I have everything here. And then Page of Cups is also someone very in tune with their emotions. So it's like you kind of like start here where it's a very like negative, I guess we can say. And then it kind of falls into like, yep, I'm getting everything that I want. We're gonna celebrate, we're gonna do it. Boom, I have it. So they're really, I don't know, like these piles today have been a little crazy. all of them have been pretty positive, which I'm glad to hear. The new moon is about like a lot of new beginnings, and you also got a new moon in the oracle card, but it does talk about relaxing, and maybe that's something that you need to work on. Um, Again, like it did with pile one, maybe there isn't a lot to go from here. It's pretty cut and clear. Do this, you'll receive all of that. But maybe we can pull some cards. Excuse me. Maybe we can pull some cards to kind of show, like, maybe what you are struggling with here. So let's do that. Oh, Three of Cups. Maybe one more. The World. Now, these are positive cards, but since we're kind of talking about what you're struggling with, um, I'll just read it that way. So, Three of Cups can talk about friendships and the world. Um, it kind of seems like you're struggling doing something with your friends. Like this mentality that you have is affecting your friendships, or maybe the friends that you have aren't really good for some of you. Um, but and the world here kind of talks about how you can kind of like have everything that you want. Um, which kind of falls in line with like the Nine of Cups, and then you putting your foot forward and like saying, "Yeah, I can do this. I can." Then I'm gonna have everything. Um, but I'm kind of getting like there's a lesson that you're not learning with this card here. I know the wheel can sometimes talk about how you're repeating lessons, but in this case, even though it's not the wheel, I'm really getting that vibe from this circle here that there is some type of lesson you're not learning with your friends. Again, this can be the type of friends that you hang out with, or maybe you're not really trusting them when you should. Um, that'll be different for everyone here. Uh, so I would very much look into that. Are your friends like really supporting you, and are they treating you correctly? And are you treating them correctly? So I know it's easy to point fingers, but a relationship goes both ways. And it doesn't necessarily mean that only one person is at fault. You really need to look at it from both ways. Like maybe there's something you could have done, and maybe there's something they could have done. So even if they're treating you wrong, there's still something you could also do. Maybe in you allowing that to happen, you're not treating yourself right. And that's something negative that you're doing to yourself. And maybe you allowing them to be a part of your life is not allowing them to grow because they're not learning their lesson. They're also repeating their lessons. So that is something to look into. And whatever aspect you think that's affecting you in, I would really think about this because this is like one major block that you have from all of this success. And that shouldn't be happening. And I think, like with this new moon, you kind of like have everything that you need to kind of fix this. Because I know it may be one card and I know it may be difficult to kind of just say, yeah, you need to fix it and things will be fine. And maybe it is like difficult for you to like kind of think about such a sensitive topic, but it is important for you to kind of figure that out. Um, let's see if we can get any closing cards here. the moon. Uh, this is one of those cards where, like, does anyone really know what it means? I know the moon also talks about, again, like emotions, it's related to that, but this is also a card of like uncertainty. So I guess you could kind of see it as a positive card, but also negative. And let's see if there's what else we get here to kind of relate to that. The Four of Pentacles, the Six of Cups. So it's kind of interesting because a lot of these cards kind of popped up for pile one. Um, so maybe if you're attracted to that pile, it'll maybe these two messages will kind of like correlate with each other. But with the moon, again, like with pile one, which is kind of funny, Six of Cups is a positive card, so is the Four of Pentacles. Um, but it seems like maybe this could be related to like inner child stuff as well. Pile one also got this card, and that could be something that's affecting this. So I would look into that. Again, this can also talk about like reminiscing as well, but it could also talk about how like things are also fine, which is a little confusing. But I think in this case, because we got the moon here, it is more about the past, and maybe you're not letting go of the past when you're supposed to, because you have an attachment to certain things that your friends have done, or maybe you have done in the past. Maybe you need to forgive yourself as well for certain things, and if you're treating them incorrectly, right? So there really is a need to look for that. And although this is kind of like a very positive card here, she's kind of like really holding things in, and she's kind of like not wanting to let go. So again, like with inner child stuff, maybe you're not letting go of something. And like the moon here, although it also talks about emotions, it talks about uncertainty. Maybe you're kind of scared to let things go when you're supposed to. So there really is like this really big connection here that maybe you might want to look into. Um, but yeah, pile two, like I know it seems scary, but I don't think there really is such a huge thing here. I know like if you have to let go of friends, it might be scary. Um, but you also don't necessarily have to let go of them. Maybe it's about you talking things out with your friends and letting them uh, know how you feel and how they feel, and then you can like kind of work on things together. But this is something that you can work on and you have the ability to. It's just a matter of like, when are you really going to start doing this? And then you can kind of go from there into like all of this positivity. So this is it for your reading pile two. I hope this kind of helped you. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And please let me know what you think about this new format and if maybe the picture is more clear. Thank you for watching. Hi, Pile 3, welcome to your reading. You got the full moon in Libra and find a balance. So maybe this card, it's funny because we have a new moon and then you're getting a full moon. So again, and it also talks about balance. So it's kind of funny how you're tipping the scales between something new and something in completion. Um, Maybe there's a need to balance a certain part of your life that maybe you're not doing. But let's pull some tarot cards to make sure that we know what your guides are trying to tell you. Ace of Cups, Page of Swords, the Wheel. Let's pull two more. The Empress and the Tower. Okay. Yep, it's a little... Okay. So it seems like there's some type of new lesson or something for you to learn in terms of your emotions or well, some aspect of it really, because the Ace of Cups is like a beginning period of like your emotions. This can be love, this can be self-love, this can be um any type of form of emotions and a beginning for it. With the Page of Swords, it talks about mastering like a skill. So this is how I'm getting like this whole lesson thing. And the Wheel, although this is a positive card, if it keeps spinning too much, you're kind of repeating lessons. And then the Empress, someone very in tune. Um, I kind of work with Aphrodite, so I kind of like, for me, this is kind of like her card. So for maybe it does relate to some of you, but this can be like a lesson about love. And with the Tower, uh, I know this can be seen as something negative, but it could also talk about like an ending, kind of like the Ten of like Swords or Wands or something, where you're kind of like breaking things down in order for things to grow again. So it doesn't necessarily look like, well, actually, if I think about it, it's funny how you got the full moon in Libra and talking about balance, and it's like a beginning here and an ending. So that could be a thing here. And maybe there is a need for you to like look at what are you repeating a lot. So like you're starting something, you're ending it, but this keeps happening like in a circle. It keeps repeating. Let's pull some cards to find that out actually. Let me move this up so we can get that in the camera. The Magician is like a manifester, and the Seven of Wands is someone who is kind of like working towards their goals. Um, so again, kind of like beginning, ending. Let's get a clarification card for the Wheel, because this one is a little confusing here. Balance. Okay. Um, maybe this is the balance that they're wanting you to notice. Maybe you're starting too many things here. You're manifesting too much and you're not really following through with like the stuff that you want. You're not really letting them end or complete or anything. There is a need for you to balance that, and that I think that's what this is talking about here. Like you're kind of putting too much into the wheel and you keep letting it spin and it's just constantly spinning and you're not really letting things end so the wheel can stop turning. It's kind of like, you know, the water wheels. when they kind of have water and they keep spinning. But they will always spin if there's water there. But once that water stops, that wheel will also stop. And it's kind of like your wheel isn't kind of stopping you to give you that prize, you know? Like it's just spinning and spinning and it's not ending. So there is like a need to kind of be careful with you manifesting things too much and you wanting all these new things, and your guides are kind of like setting things up for you. But then you're also not really letting that manifestation come through because you keep doing new things here. And I think that's what your guides are talking about here. So again, you got the full moon in Libra, even though this is about like a new moon. So I would be careful in the way that you kind of like keep manifesting new stuff. You should really kind of calm that down. It's kind of like what your guides are saying. Um, Manifest one thing at a time. Let your guides kind of work, uh, help you in like whatever way that they want to, so that you can achieve that goal that you want in your manifestation, and then let it end and finally get to you before you start all these constant manifestations about like, oh, I want love, oh, I want a job, oh, I want this and that, like, oh, I want a new car or a new apartment or a new house or a new pet. Like, let something finish. Um, because if you keep manifesting too much, you're not going to get anything. It's kind of like you're overworking your guides in a way. And they're kind of like, stop, like, give us a break, please. And then we can, like, help you with the rest of the stuff that you want. But, like, please take one step at a time. It kind of like gives me like Aries, where they kind of like don't want to wait for something and they like want something new the entire time. Um, I'm laughing at this, but don't treat your guides like that. That is not super nice, I would say. But let's see if there's any more information. Let's pull 3 cards here, actually. Maybe just 2. So it's funny because these cards are kind of opposites as well. And this also talks about balance, and you've gotten balance so many times here in this reading, where like here you start something, you end something. This is talking about new moon, and then we get the full moon here as an oracle card. 2 of Pentacles talks about balance. This is kind of like manifesting something and then working on something. And then the 2 of Swords here is about like you're in your head about stuff. And then the 6 of Swords is kind of like pulling you out of it and you're finally healing. Um, so maybe there is like a need for you to like kind of heal something. Like maybe the fact that you keep repeating these lessons here with the wheel is that you're not really committing to it. You're not really healing the way that you're supposed to. And that's kind of like affecting you spiritually, like a lot. And even like your mental state. Um, so like really be careful with that and really work on yourself to have some patience for sure. But find a balance between like healing and like actually like being fully healed as well. Because maybe the fact that you're so in your head and you're kind of sad. It's like, oh, I want this new thing that'll bring me temporary joy. When you're like really not appreciating what you have here, like the stuff that your guides are giving you. Um, so really be careful with that. This isn't like a super healthy state to be in, and I would really work on that. Um, but your guides have been pretty clear about this whole balance thing. But maybe let's pull one more card just to close the reading. The star. Yeah, you're, I mean, the star is like you're looking up to your guides, you're thanking them, you're receiving stuff, you're manifesting. It's like full circle basically. And your guides have been pretty clear about everything. I think they really do want you to be more grateful about the stuff that they've given you and take time to appreciate that and kind of heal. Maybe there's pain that you need to work on that you're not working on right now. Instead of like manifesting new stuff that'll bring you temporary joy to kind of mask this pain that you're in. Um, so please do take the time to heal that, but also be thankful for your guides and make sure to thank them in whatever way that you want to. One way that I do is by giving my guides incense and making sure that I thank them for everything that they've given me. Um, so yeah, I mean, this has been a very strange reading for sure, but I think it's also been very clear about what your guides kind of want from you. Um, but thank you for watching Pile 3. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope that you find the healing that you need, and then you take the time to appreciate what you need as well before you start something new, a new manifestation. Um, but yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Take what resonates with you and just leave what doesn't. And please let me know if you like this new format. Thank you for watching.